The morning sun glinted off the towering glass building as Sofia paused at the entrance, taking a deep breath. Her reflection stared back at her, neat hair, a simple cream blouse, black slacks, and a second-hand laptop bag slung over her shoulder. Nothing about her appearance hinted that she was the only daughter of Richard Hale, the formidable CEO whose signature decisions shaped entire markets. That was exactly how she wanted it. Inside, the corporate office buzzed with activity, phones ringing, printers whirring, heels clicking on polished floors. Sofia walked to the reception desk, introduced herself with her mother's maiden name, and was directed to the HR office. Her voice was calm, but inside, her heart beat faster. This was her chance to prove herself without the shadow of her last name. At her new desk, she received polite nods from a few coworkers, while others barely looked up from their screens. A middle-aged man in the next cubicle offered a friendly smile and a "first day. Good luck," while another colleague muttered instructions in a rushed, impatient tone. No one knew that the man whose portrait hung in the lobby was her father. No one knew she could have walked straight into an executive position if she wanted. That secrecy was her shield, and her challenge. As she logged into her new computer, Sofia glanced around the office, a spark of determination in her eyes. If she was going to succeed here, it would be because of her work, not her name. Days turned into weeks, and Sofia began to feel the full weight of her decision. Her role as a junior assistant was far from glamorous: endless spreadsheets, coffee runs, and late nights chasing down missing reports. She often stayed long after most employees had gone home, the hum of the air conditioning and the glow of her desk lamp her only company. Her blouse sleeves were rolled up more often now, her fingers aching from typing, but she never once complained. In the break room, she observed the quiet struggles of her colleagues. One in particular caught her attention: Grace, a warm but tired-looking woman in her early 30s. Over instant coffee one evening, Sofia learned that Grace was a single mother working 2 jobs to save for her son's heart surgery. Her smile never faded, but her eyes carried a weight that only someone living for another's survival could know. Sometimes, Sofia overheard coworkers venting about upper management's decisions, not knowing she had a personal connection to the man at the very top. Their frustrations weren't abstract to her anymore, they were human, raw, and real. Occasionally, a supervisor would snap at her for small mistakes, and though the sting was sharp, she swallowed her pride. She wasn't here for comfort, she was here to understand. Each day, Sofia's respect for the people around her grew. They weren't just employees, they were parents, dreamers, fighters. And without realizing it, she was beginning to see her father's company through their eyes. It was a gray, rainy afternoon when Sofia joined Grace for a routine visit to the company's main production facility. The factory floor was alive with movement, conveyor belts whirring, forklifts humming, and the rhythmic clank of machinery echoing through the high ceilings. Workers moved efficiently, some joking with one another, others focused on their tasks, unaware that danger was lurking nearby. Sofia was jotting down notes when a sharp metallic groan cut through the noise. She turned just in time to see a tall storage shelf sway dangerously. Before anyone could react, one of its legs buckled, sending heavy boxes sliding toward the edge. Grace, standing directly beneath, froze as the first box crashed down beside her, bursting open with a loud thud. The shelf tilted further, threatening to collapse completely. Without a moment's hesitation, Sofia dashed forward, shoving Grace out of the way just as another box hurtled down. They both stumbled to the ground, narrowly avoiding the impact. Shouts filled the air as workers scrambled to shut down the nearby machinery. Thinking fast, Sofia spotted the control panel and sprinted to it, slamming her palm on the emergency stop button. The conveyor belts fell silent, the mechanical hum fading into tense stillness. Grace clutched Sofia's arm, her breath trembling. You saved me," she whispered, eyes wide with shock. But Sofia only gave a small, reassuring smile, her heart still pounding. She hadn't thought about who she was or the risks, only that someone needed help, and she was there. The following morning, news of the factory incident had spread across the office like wildfire. Sofia tried to keep her head down, hoping the chatter would fade, but Grace's grateful retelling only fueled curiosity. By midday, Richard Hale himself arrived unexpectedly, a rare sight outside the executive wing. His presence drew stares and whispers as he walked through the rows of desks, his sharp suit immaculate, his expression unreadable. Sofia was in the break room pouring herself coffee when the door swung open. Richard stepped in, his eyes locking onto hers with a quiet intensity. "We need to talk," he said simply. They walked to a private conference room, the glass walls offering little privacy from the curious glances outside. Richard leaned against the table, folding his arms. "You could have been seriously hurt yesterday," he began, his voice carrying both concern and a touch of reprimand. Sofia met his gaze evenly. Someone was in danger. I wasn't going to stand there and do nothing. He studied her for a moment, then sighed, a mixture of pride and frustration. You've been working here for months under another name. I respected your wish to earn your place, but after yesterday, people deserve to know who you are. Her chest tightened. This was the conversation she had been avoiding. If they know I'm your daughter, everything changes. They won't see me for who I am. Richard's voice softened. Or maybe they'll finally see both, who you are, and what you stand for. The next morning, the company gathered in the main atrium for what everyone assumed was a routine announcement. Employees lined the balconies and filled the floor below, murmuring in anticipation. Sofia stood quietly near the back, trying to blend into the crowd. Then, Richard Hale stepped up to the podium. His deep voice carried easily over the room. Yesterday, one of our own risked her safety to protect another, he began, pausing just long enough for the audience to lean in. She didn't do it for recognition or reward. She did it because it was the right thing to do. Sofia's stomach nodded as he continued. What most of you don't know, is that this person is also my daughter, Sofia Hale. The crowd erupted in gasps and whispers. All eyes turned toward her. Some faces showed shock, others understanding, and more than a few, newfound respect. Grace, standing nearby, broke into a broad smile. Richard gestured for her to come forward. Reluctantly, she stepped into the open space, her heart pounding. Richard placed a hand on her shoulder. She didn't want privilege or shortcuts. She wanted to work, to learn, and to prove herself. And yesterday, she proved something far more important, that character matters more than titles. The atrium filled with applause, not out of obligation, but genuine admiration. For the first time, Sofia didn't feel like she was hiding. She wasn't just the CEO's daughter, she was herself, and she had earned her place.